Yo guys, I'm Niek from the Produce School and welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make 3 essential basses for minimal and tech house. I will show you how to make a knock bass, a simple saw bass and an organ bass. All these sounds are fairly simple, but still they belong to the most used sounds in this genre. We recently released a tech and minimal house sample pack called Dimension, which you can find in the link in the description if you are still searching for some high quality minimal and tech house sounds and presets. So right now I'm in Serum and I'm going to start with one of the most popular basses of the moment, which is the knock bass. The knock bass is typically made by short punchy sine waves and you can do that fairly easily in Serum. It has a really short punch and then the rest of the tail of the sound really sits in the low end. So essentially what you're going to do is select an analog BD sine, which is like a regular sine. You can tweak the wavetable position a little bit to add some grit to the sound, but that's totally up to you. Now envelope 1 can be shaped something like this. Make sure to give it some release and let's see what it sounds like right now. Maybe pitch it down 2 octaves. Right now it's a really dull sound, but we're going to shape envelope 2 like this and go into the matrix section, and then we're going to link envelope 2 to the global master tune, which is going to make sure that we have that punchy effect. And right here you can play around with the output, which is basically the mix level of the punch. Now let's find a sweet spot for the wavetable position. Maybe automate it with envelope 1. You can hear it just adds a little grit to the sound. Next up we can add some noise to the sound, and this will basically give a really cool effect if we distort the sound afterwards. So something like this. Maybe that's a bit too bright. Maybe we can filter the noise. Something that you can do if you want some more grit is use noise FMing on the sine. But right now I just want to keep it simple. Let's move on to the FX section and select a diode 2 distortion. You can basically adjust this to your own taste. You can make it like really distorted. Let's filter this noise even more. And maybe another filter. In order to make this work in your mix, you should be really careful with the decay and sustain. Sometimes it works better to keep it really short. And sometimes, for example, your kick gives you some room to play around with longer knock basses. But as you can see when I play around with the decay, the knock will still be there. So it also depends on the rhythm you're going for. A really fast rhythm usually requires like a shorter decay. When you have a less fast rhythm, you can make it longer. And eventually it will start to sound like an 808 basically. Often this kind of bass is layered with another bass to get like a full covered frequency spectrum, because this really sits in the low end, as I already told you. But this is basically the most easy way to create a knock bass. Let's now move on to the next bass, which is a saw sub bass. I think this type of bass is the most used in tech and minimal house ever. And it's actually really simple, but it's just really effective. So let's just start with a wavetable on oscillator A. And I like to take something else than a basic shape saw, because you also have like more analog sounding sounds, such as the basic Mini, which is inspired from the Moog synthesizer. And right now it sounds really sharp, and yeah, you really can't do much with it as a sub bass right now. And logically, you will add a filter to get rid of all of that grittiness in the high end. So I would just take a MG Low 24. So right now you have something like a sub response. For a sub, I wouldn't recommend to drag down the sustain, as you really want to keep that sub response stable. So you can add some release like this. But I wouldn't really play around with the sustain, just keep it on the regular settings. And as you can hear right now, it really lacks body. So the first thing you can do is add distortion. You can also add a multiband compressor, but some people will not like it, and some people do like the sound that it adds to the preset. I would definitely recommend to add another filter after the multiband compressor, because some of those high frequencies don't really work. And you can also layer this with like another wavetable. Let's see, like a Uno wavetable, for example. Make sure you don't forget to turn down the random phase for both oscillators. So every note you play sounds exactly the same and doesn't start on another phase point. Also, for this kind of bass, you can add some noise. But if you do that, make sure you select direct out, because you really added like a sub filter. You can also automate it like this. And that's basically it for a bass like this. You can play around with different kind of wavetables, but essentially it's a really easy sound. Let's now move on to the last sound of this video, which will be a organ sound. And there are basically plenty of ways that you can make an organ sound, but in this case I'm going to use this basic shape wavetable, which is like a triangle wavetable. The sound is characterized by having very full tones, so it does have like a very full bass, but it also has some resonant tones in the mid and high area. And you can achieve that by using multiple oscillators that are playing on different octaves and even different semitones to really get that organ kind of sound. Let's just start off with the basic shape wavetable, which sounds like this. And then start to shape envelope 1 something like this. And now add another basic shape, basically the same one, and pitch it up 7 semitones. And now you already get that harmonically rich sound that you basically want. And now add a triangle in your sub oscillator as well and pitch it down 1 octave. Now make sure that you link all of the oscillators to the filter, and then shape envelope 2 something like this. So drag the sustain all the way down. Give it a bit more attack. Okay, so something like this would work. Let's add some noise as well, just some analog noise. Some tube distortion. I feel like it might be missing some bass, so let's pitch this down 2 octaves and this 1 octave. Play around with the unison on the higher oscillator, but I will just stick with this right now. Let's add a chorus and increase the chorus filter and drag down the mix. A bit of dimension works really well as well. And for this kind of bass sound, you can also add a bit of reverb. Just make sure that you add a low cut so it doesn't clash. And maybe increase the gain with a compressor a little bit. So that sounds nice already. Maybe a short slap delay. And then you basically already have an organ kind of sound. That was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and learned something new in terms of bass sound design. If you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to leave a comment down below. We would be happy to create another video about like different types of sounds in different genres. So if you have any suggestions, just make sure to let us know. As I told you already, we have just released a new tech and minimal house pack called Dimension, which you can find in the link in the description. It contains samples, presets, loops, projects and much more. And if you like this video, I'm pretty sure you will like the pack too, so make sure to check that out. For now, I want to thank you guys for watching and I see you guys in the next video.
El ritmo.